And so that's one of the primary ways that you can get to information in DA. But it does look like a lot of content. I mean, I could have clicked through that and it absolutely is. So maybe you're thinking, hey, that looked awesome. Or that looked awesome, but it definitely looked complicated, right? It might be no different than, right, this is a single book, but, I could have well, maybe showing my age, I could have a set of 24, 25, 26 encyclopedias, right? So a whole set of encyclopedias. Now, is that too much information? Is it too complicated? Am I going to try and read the encyclopedia starting with the first volume, going all the way down to the end, and then any additional sort of supplemental types of volumes that might be there? Well, I like to use this example, and this example actually comes from Al Shalloway. So Al Shalloway's a thought leader in the agile and lean space, and he likes to have lots of discussions around something that's complex, complicated, and how we describe that. And I would say a lot of times what people want is they want something simple because they feel like, oh, I can get my hands around it. It's easy for me to understand. And so, right, the comparison with the bike. So unicycle is pretty simple. So I have a unicycle and I've got an S-Works Tarmac. This is one of my favorite bikes. It's I have this model, and so I'm a pretty avid rider. And in comparing the two, so let's see, the unicycle, it's got pedals, but it doesn't have any gears or brakes. There's no chain. It's got a seat and pedals and a wheel, essentially, right? The complicated bike, well, it's got 12 gears in the back. It's got 2 gears in the front, so 2, big chain ring, small chain ring. It's got front and rear brakes, and a fair amount of complicatedness, right? And when you're riding, you're able to change gears in the front, right? The small ring and big ring, and then you've got 12 gears in the back on this particular bike. So you have 24 gears, and you don't go like 1 through 12, and then you go 13 through 24. Depending on the situation, you're going to be changing back and forth between those front gears, and also possibly changing then again in the back, right? Depending on an incline or decline, or you're accelerating, whatever. But I would say, and again, I'm a pretty avid rider. I have tried to ride a unicycle, and those things are not very easy to ride. But almost anybody can ride a 2-wheel bike. So here's the thing. Here's how to less complicate this. I mean, I could, if I had somebody I was just sort of trying to teach how to ride a road bike like this, I could disconnect the front brake, because you could, on a front brake, you can hit your front brake lever pretty hard and possibly flip over. So rear brake, lot safer. Might not be the fastest way to stop, but it's going to be a lot easier to learn how to ride. I could disconnect the front derailleur. I could put it on the small gear, or the bigger chain ring, smaller chain ring, and just leave it set. I could shift the bike into, say, like 3rd gear, so something pretty easy still to get going, yet carry a little bit of speed. And that's it, right? So now I've given you a single speed bike with nothing more than a rear brake, although there's a lot of growth in this bike, right? So it's a good starting point. Now, with the unicycle, you're going to be kind of limited. Yeah, you can do different stuff with unicycles, but you're not going to see multiple gears and brakes and all sorts of other stuff unless maybe you're getting into like some sort of an extreme sport situation. But with this bike, right, we can grow with experience. We can use continuous improvement. You got some experience riding, your balance is good, you're pretty comfortable. Maybe I can connect the front brake back up, but kind of make it soft. Like I like my brakes really touchy because I have a light feel, so I like it really, really kind of tight. But yeah, for somebody else, I might be able to set it where, yeah, you're going to get some braking out of that, but you're not going to have to really, continue to be worried about, again, over braking in the front and flipping over. Maybe I keep the front derailleur disconnected, but have the rear one, and now you can start learning how to change gears, right? So yeah, this is a little more complicated than a single speed bike, but you have to go get another bike, right? All of this capability was there just waiting for you. So I'm back to the DA browser, right? So I'm back to the toolbox. And so form team, yep, here's a process goal. There's a whole bunch of decision points, things that teams might need to consider, and then making some selections. Go to, again, a DA's got phases in it, but now I'm looking at another process goal, right? Accelerate value delivery, right? Lots of great stuff here, right? Lots of great stuff, but still, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff maybe we're not ready for yet. And then again, I had kind of clicked on this before, the evolved way of working. So the environment we're in, communication styles, collaboration styles, life cycle, and so forth, right? So we have lots of growth here, right? This is way beyond a 24-speed bike. Yeah. So here is the full view of Discipline Agile 5.5. That's the current release that's in the DA web browser. Over 1,500 options. So again, I personally, and what I try to convey is that just because we have this really large toolbox, we don't have to use all these tools. Again, just like going back into, to have a vehicle serviced. I'm not going to take 1,500 tools and dump it out on the floor for a team to say, yeah, use them all. No, of course not, right? But this is something that can appear to be very complicated, very heavyweight. It can be a turnoff, right? People can see this and say, oh my God, are you kidding me? Like, this is what you want us to adopt? You want us to use this? Like, that's why we use Scrum, and that's why we use whatever, right? That's a lot smaller.